for the warm welcome. We are excited to be joining the Arcadia community. So hello and good morning. And I wanted to let Gloria say a quick hello. She's my newest team member, so she'll say a quick hi.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Gloria. I'm very familiar with the Arcadia area because I gave birth at Methodist Hospital, and my mother-in-law lives there, so I frequent that area. So I'm very excited to be part of the team. It's like my home to me. I go there every weekend at least. So I am excited to be part of the Meridien opening team. If any of you have any questions, can't reach Kelly, I'm always there for you as well.
Welcome.
Thank you. So let's see, I'm going to start sharing my slides here. And thank you all for letting me share about the hotel. So can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Perfect. So this is our rendering. You may have seen the activity that's going on right on Huntington. So we are starting to add the landscaping in now, but the building structure is obviously complete and we're putting in these details here. If you look at this beautiful glass and metalwork wall, it's an art installation that is representative of a peacock feather. And so obviously, we all love the peacocks that are roaming around Arcadia, and we wanted to bring in a sense of place with our design. And so you'll see elements, kind of abstract elements of peacock feathers and the touch of peacock blue throughout the property. So we are scheduled to open early May. And so we are just about 60 some odd days away from that. So we're getting very close. This is a map that just gives you a sense of place for where we are. Gloria and I are having fun introducing Arcadia to a lot of people outside of the community. And so when I'm talking to people that I used to work with on the East Coast or people in different parts of California, we're using this map to really showcase how close we are to everything. And so many of you know we sit right next to the Santa Anita Park. So that's a great built-in connection for partnership. And then obviously we've got the Arboretum and Santa Anita Mall right near us as well. So we're creating amazing partnerships and programs for all of the guests that will be coming in from all over the country and internationally. So this is a really beautiful rendering of how the approach will be coming into the building. And so on the left-hand side of the image here underneath this is the porte-cochere. So coming into the building, you'll pull in, check here, you'll valet park your vehicle, and you'll get obviously this landscaped experience. There's a fountain installation, and then there's going to be a beautiful beautiful statue of Anita Baldwin to pay homage to the Baldwin family's history in the community. And that will be installed after we open. And so this is another view of the exterior. If you drive past it now, you'll see that these large palm trees have been placed, but the rest of the features outside have not been completed yet. We've got 60 days to get it all done. And then this is a quick property overview. We have got 234 rooms in total. We've got 17 suites, including a hospitality suite, 80 rooms with 2 queen beds, and then 137 king bedded rooms. We're going to show you some pictures of Gloria and I's favorite rooms where you can watch the horse races from your bed, actually. So we've got amazing views throughout the property. We're going to have 2 different restaurant concepts. One is called Melange, and I'll speak about that a little bit later. Melange is a French word that means blending, and it's a blending of 2 styles of cuisine with a traditional steakhouse with an Asian fusion. And then we've got Longitude 118, which is our bar. It will also be serving food throughout the day as well. We've got private dining rooms. We've got a high ball and high tea program. So we've got a lot of amazing food and beverage opportunities for guests and for locals to enjoy. This picture is probably a little hard to see, but it is a floor plan of the building. And so this is coming in. You'd come into this space here. These are the doors, if you can see where my cursor is. And this is a layout of the building. And so what you notice is that the building is done kind of on a curve here. And it takes in a lot of turns throughout the building and just a really amazing sense of feng shui actually to the design. This is our outdoor garden space, which is a horseshoe shape. You can kind of see the rounding of the horseshoe shape there. Again, kind of paying homage to our location nearby the racetrack. We have a lot of elements that will remind you of equestrian chic and little elements of deconstructed horse track shapes throughout the building. So this garden is a gorgeous space for events for up to 600 people. This is the check-in area here, bar area. And then this is a 90-seat restaurant right here as well. So I've talked a little bit about the equestrian chic. So this slide is just to give you a little sense of what we mean by that. There'll be, these are not literal images of the property. It is just kind of an inspiration point. So there's little details of leather work throughout the property, and then the sense of fashion that goes into when you go to the horse races. So we have a beautiful display of vintage Hermes scarves on the property, and that's kind of this sense of how you dress when you're going to the horse races. And then Le Méridien brand is a part of Marriott. And one of the pillars for the brand is mid-century modern inspiration. So a lot of our design is actually mid-century modern. So very sleek design, curves, and kind of a mid-century modern color palette as well. We have a unique cultural experience, which we bring to life through our culinary, and then really a true sense of artist discovery. The property is going to have an amazing art program, and I'll be able to show you a few slides of some of the pieces that are being created specifically for our property. Our brand pillars for Le Méridien, this art of travel. The Le Méridien brand came about in the 70s and was really Air France's destination hotel in Paris when that airline first came to life in the 70s. And so this idea of mid-century modern design really goes back to the beginnings of being the first property in France during that time and taking note of how the design was in the original Le Méridien brand. This is a picture of our guest rooms. And you will see another picture of this throughout the way, but again, kind of playing to our sense of place. This is an abstract of horses running, and they're always running out of your room. So I don't really know what that means, but there's this mosaic element that's created in all of the rooms that is this kind of abstract of a horse, and you can see the shadow of mountains with clouds above it. And so the art program makes its way into the rooms with original pieces of artwork as well. This is a beautiful vignette of our longitude 118 bar. You can see it's got a glowing overhead light here, and you can see through to the landscaping outside the glass walls. So the restaurant has glass walls that can open and close and allow a lot of interaction with outdoor space. So of course there's beautiful weather almost every single day in Southern California. And so I can see those doors being opened very often for a flow of an indoor-outdoor experience, really bringing this landscaping and the interaction between the outdoors to life for our hotel guests. We also have a European heritage with the brand, and our art program brings in some European artists. So that's a sample of our art program. This is, again, that same floor plan, and it shows you vignettes of where key pieces of art are throughout the property. This is our ballroom here. If you can see where my cursor is moving, it has a series of 3 insets into the high ceilings with chandeliers in them. And these are, again, that shape of a horse track. So really subtle touches to Santa Anita Park throughout the building. You probably wouldn't notice them if I didn't point them out, but it's really creates a fun sense of discovery for guests to find elements that would be reminiscent of our location next to the racetrack. This piece is one of my favorites. I will talk about it in one moment with another slide, but it sits right here in the check-in area. So this is that beautiful glass wall here, and then you've got the one with the peacock feathers. This is where it sits on the building, and then you have this bench here, and this is where you check in, your check-in experience for guests. Above the lobby check-in space, you have this element of a peacock feather. So Ron Dyer's studio created these pieces of blue glass and pottery work, ceramic and glass work that are 2 to 6 inches long. And it's a very large installation piece above the check-in desk that really is this abstract of a peacock feather. And then also in that space is this bench that I talked about. So one of the things with the Le Meridien brand, which is very important, is this sense of art in our space and unlock art, that each of our guests can connect with art throughout the city and throughout our location, but also while they're staying in the hotel. So this cypress tree here used to live on the property. It was a tree that fell over the years, and we were able to keep these trees. There was 4 of them that fell, and create this usable piece of artwork from the wood that came from the land where the hotel now sits. So we probably know the history of what was there before, but there was also these beautiful cypress trees that when they fell, an artist took those and aged them and has created this bench for us from, a botanical element from our space. And it is a 3-dimensional work of art that you can actually sit on. It has bronze inlays in it as well. And so this is a really beautiful custom piece that's done by Colas Moore, which will be in our lobby space. These bottom images are just pure, elements of inspiration for how the wood was treated and how this is coming to life. So this piece is being done for us right now. I know it's very close to being done, so it's ready for installation. I'll talk about one more piece of art. This is one that is really one of my favorites because I think it brings together a lot of things in our community that we value so much. It is, if you look here, these are all tea bags, and they're gold painted tea bags. And this installation is very large. It's like a 6-foot wide installation of gold painted tea bags. And on these are being created an abstract drawing of a horse. And so it brings together this rich culture of the tea ceremonies and of our community in Arcadia, and really overlays it with a rendering of horses. So that's one of my favorite pieces in the property, and that's going to be by the elevator banks. And so I would tell you, throughout the property, it's really this sense of discovery, of seeing art in every niche and corner around the building. We've used a California artist who's created some abstract pieces for us as well. And then just a glimpse of some of our culinary programs that we're really excited about. We will be featuring Illy Coffee. So we'll have an amazing coffee experience. The coffee culture is really important to our positioning, and it's one of the things that Le Meridien brand is known for. And so we'll have a trained barista on to make amazing coffees for all of our guests and any locals that want to wander in to enjoy a coffee. And then we have Le Scoop, which is a Le Meridien brand. We'll have a custom done ice cream flavor. Ours is going to have a matcha sense to it. So each Le Meridien has their own distinct ice cream flavor that we'll be serving year round. And so people will be able to come and enjoy ice cream in our space as well. And it just brings a sense of fun and playfulness to our property. We also will have a sparkling wine program. So it's our sparkling and small plates program that Le Meridien is known for as well. These are some images of our restaurant. So Melange is the restaurant, and you can see here the seating area, and we have these beautiful screens, and they're featured here again that open and close. So during the day, you'll have a little bit of an open experience with the screens being open, and at night the screens will close to create a more significant ambiance, or a little bit more of a kind of a traditional restaurant feeling. We also have private dining rooms. So these windows are actually private dining rooms that have the floor to ceiling windows with a great perch to see everything that's going on in the lobby. So there'll be some amazing dinners held in those spaces for people that really want to enjoy the food, but also have this sense of overseeing everything that's happening below. This is our chef, Chef Mako Tanaka. We are so thrilled to have him in our community. He has done a lot of things on the west side of LA. He's done Chinois on 6th. He worked at the Spago in West Hollywood and was the executive chef right next to Wolfgang Puck for years. When we were checking Chef Mako's references, we actually had to call Chef Nobu himself to check the references. So he is a really amazing caliber of chef. He will be bringing his talents, and we've got a sushi chef as well that's joining. So we'll have amazing Japanese and Asian inspired steakhouse cuisine served throughout the property. So we're so excited to have Chef Mako with us. Then this is a really fun program that we have. It's called the Highball and High Tea Program. So it's a very traditional high tiered with tea infusion. And then we will also have a highball program, which means that we'll have a cocktail version of a high tea as well, which is a signature type offering. So we'll have something to meet both needs, and they'll be served throughout the day, as you can see, 11 till 5 p.m. Here's the guest room. And I think when you look at our guest rooms, we've got the blinds closed here because this was done kind of earlier in construction phases, but I'll show you some images of the views. We've got lots of layers and tactile elements to the room. There's patterns to the floor, and it's a sense of illustrative point that's used throughout the property. If you looked closely, you would notice it has this element of topography to it. So the interior designer actually looked at the San Gabriel Mountains in an aerial topography view and used this pattern of layouts to bring in an element of the mountains into the property. So we have walls that have this very cool pattern to it, and it's truly taking the topography from the San Gabriel Mountains and bringing it into the property. You've got the horse element here. You've got a lot of touches of leather, some plaids that are used. And again, that's the inspiration point of the equestrian chic. Here is some images right now for where we're at. And Mike has gotten to see the property. We got to show him around. These are our bathrooms. You can see they've got a very beautiful rounded sink, the glowing mirror, and then the mid-century modern style tile work. This has got a sofa seating area. You can see everything's kind of still in wrappers and all of that. It's all very new, but this is the room on the second floor, which you can see into the racetrack from all of the rooms on this side. So this gives you a sense of all the light and that flows into the rooms. TV's mounted here, so you can be watching TV and watching the horse races. So here's a picture of the view from that room. It gives you an idea of all the construction work that's going on here, but an idea of this really looking into the racetrack here. So you can see where the horses start here in their curve. The hotel has meeting space, which we use a creative meetings program, and there's a lot of fun elements that are brought into the meeting. So we're a great space for meetings and for events. This is showing our art partnership program. So very soon I'll be able to announce our local partner that we have for our Unlock Art. And every guest that checks into our hotel is invited to connect with a local partner.
I should have had you watching. Really interesting.
Hey, Joe, would you please, Joe? Yeah, thank you.
Perfect. This is our ballroom. And so what this rendering doesn't show you, so this is a rendering, it's not the live image, obviously it's still under construction a bit, is that there are the glass walls that that bright natural light that's flowing into your guest rooms is the same in the ballroom. And so they're all glass walls, and there are 3 doors that open up to the event terrace, which is that gorgeous 9,000 square foot landscaped lawn area that's perfect for events. If you look, you'll see this horseshoe shaped element that I spoke about, and then these chandeliers here. And then the meeting rooms have art installations, and this is just a little glimpse of some of the art in the room. So our space in this room, it's our largest space. It's 4,600 square feet. It's perfect for sit-down dinners for around 300. We can bump it up a little bit depending on the needs for staging and all of that. But we've got reception space outdoor for up to 650 people. And then we've got this room and another meeting room for proper like corporate events and things like that for sit-down meetings. These are our meeting rooms here. So you've got the ideas of the capacity of what we can do in each room there. Got private dining rooms, which I spoke about. So this is a rendering of what those rooms, how they look out and interact with the lobby space. And this is the outdoor garden space that's starting to have the landscaping added in. So this is Huntington right here. West Huntington is right in front of the kind of the red trees here. But this is this landscapes garden space, which can be set up obviously for outdoor wedding ceremonies or for events where there's cocktail reception. And the top left-hand image where my cursor is moving around is the ballroom with the glass walls, with the doors that open and allow people out to this event space. This is the entrance from the hotel side, and this is where the restaurant and bar opens up to the outdoor space as well. So when I think about properties that have this type of outdoor event space, the Langham is the closest one to us, but what we have is so unique, and we're the only space in Arcadia that has this amount of meeting space with this natural light. The ballroom has views of the San Gabriel Mountains, and if you walk out into the space, you have views of the Santa Anita Park. So our location really allows that all of our meeting space and all of our guest rooms have amazing views from every side of the building. Le Meridien brand is a part of Marriott, and there's over 100 locations throughout the world. There's a very significant amount in the Pacific Asian part of the world, and so in Pac Asia, and so that really brings a sense of internationalness to the brand, and it will allow for a lot of our international guests that are coming in to already have known and experienced the brand. Within California, there is one in San Francisco that's well known. There's one in Santa Monica called the Delfina. And then there's a new one that's going to be opening a Le Meridien brand in 2 years' time down in Anaheim. So within California, Le Meridien's starting to get more and more known, and we'll be excited to bring ours to life to really help with the expansion of the brand as well. This is just a sampling of different cities that we're in, and it gives you a sense of this mid-century modern styling and kind of the use of the pops of color like we'll have in our property. The guest rooms are all very similar in terms of modest coloring and then lots of natural light coming in. And then there's a big expansion within Le Meridien to keep growing in a lot of different international and domestic locations. And so we're excited to be part of this expansion. And then this is just my contact details, which I can post in the chat box as well. But I speak for myself, my general manager, Gloria, and for all of us. We are so excited to be part of the Arcadia community and have felt so welcomed. So I know we're going to do great things together. So thank you all for allowing me to present today. I don't know if we have questions or Sue, how we usually close it out, but yeah, I was just going to say, I'm so excited to have had this opportunity to talk to everyone. So thank you.
Okay. Why don't you stop sharing your screen and then we can see more people and see, yeah, there we go. Does anybody have a question? Now I can, hello, Jose Luis.
Yeah, I see you pay homage to a lot of things in the area, the the racetrack. I didn't see any homage to the good dive bar that used to be there, the 100-to-1. What's up with that?
I love that question, Jose Luis.
Yeah,
I love it.
I think if you need pictures, I think David Lamb may have a few.
Yeah. It's very funny. As I've been learning more and more, everybody talks about the dive bar 101. Is that correct?
Oh, yes. 100-to-1.
101.
Wonderful dive bar. It broke my heart when you guys bought that property.
Oh my goodness. So you know what? I think you'll have to tell me your favorite drink there. Maybe we can make sure we can bring that favorite drink.
I'm guaranteeing that your prices that you have at your bar are nowhere near what the 100-to-1 is.
You know what? I've got to come up with something. I'll try to come up with something creative for locals to have that.
No, why don't you have me over?
Maybe a special code word that you say to get this special pricing. How about that?
That's clever. I think that's great.
I'll work on something like that.
Looking forward to going to the bars.
Oh my goodness. Well, Pete over at the racetrack, they have been amazing partners, and he showed me they purchased the sign. I don't know if
I know.
And he showed it to us and he said, this was what was right on your site, Kelly. And I was like, we need to figure out how to do something with that connection. So
That's a
I'm
great
so glad you
idea.
mentioned that. I hope to see you at our bar and I will make sure
You
that
most definitely will. Most definitely.
I can work with you on the 101 pricing,
Thank you.
the 101.
Right.
Thank you.
Did we have any other questions? All right, Mike.
Mike.
Yes, I want to let everyone know that when Kelly gave me a tour of the property a week or so ago, I told her about some of the previous occupants of the land. And as a member of the Arcadia Historical Society, I promised her that I would come up with photographs of all the previous occupants of that 6+ acres. And maybe she could display that in a hallway somewhere or in her office or somewhere where people can also get a feeling for what has been on that property prior to the La Meridien coming in.
What a wonderful idea.
Yes, I love
That's
that.
great. Great.
So Mike, that
Anyone
gives
else?
you something to do tomorrow when you wake up and think, what am I going to do today? Right?
Anybody else? I'm looking for hands or Tim. Oh, and Joe, you're next.
Yeah, hi Kelly. Tim Schwer, City of Arcadia. I'll probably be working. I do economic development, business assistance. I'll probably be coordinating with you on some great promotions as you guys open. Your presentation is great. Is it available or version available that I could share with some people in our community?
Absolutely. I'll get your details and I will send it to you right after this.
Great. I'll put my contact in the chat. Thanks.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It was a
Tim.
great presentation. Joa, did you have a question?
Yes, she must give all this information to Jim Gluckson with the breeders, because when they come back, it's not fair that they're in Pasadena. I don't get it. It's a real inconvenience. The hotel should be here.
Well, it is now.
Please,
We're
please.
working on it. We're working
Oh,
on it.
Gorgeous. I just love everything. Thank you so much.
Oh, thank
Wonderful
you.
presentation.
Yeah. Anyone else? I feel like I'm in romper room, but I think we're good. Kelly, that was a fabulous presentation. The thoughtfulness put into every detail was just amazing. I can't wait to go and really, like you said, discover it. And you should have a little treasure map or something that people need to go. And
I think we have one more question from Connie.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Connie Aguiar. You need to unmute yourself, Connie. There we go.
Great presentation, Kelly. Thank you so much. It's going to add to our San Gabriel Valley in general. I am Native American and I'm a native, and I'm hoping that there will be some acknowledgement of the Native American culture that is throughout our whole country. I hope there is something that refers to our culture as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Our art curator and the local ownership really took intention with bringing everything in the local community in. So Connie, I will actually try to find out which pieces touch to that. And so thank you for asking that question. I really appreciate it, Connie. I probably should mention that there is more that will be happening in our space as well. And so there is a residential piece that's attached to our development. The whole development is called One Gallup Way, and there will be 100 high-end residential element or units in a high-rise complex that's attached to our plot of land, and it will have a spa and retail offerings in that building as well. And so that's about 2 years behind us. And so you'll see more talk of what's happening with that development that's called One Gallup Way. Our ownership is actually a local ownership as well. And so it's the Chateau Group, if you know those individuals that are involved in the project. So.
Wonderful. Boy, that's exciting. That's great. Being a realtor, that's real exciting.
I know. I realized you might like that too.
All right. I don't want to cut anybody off, but I think we're good. Thank you so much, Kelly. That was fabulous. And Gloria, welcome. We're so excited to have you guys with us and in our community. So we're going to move on to our legislative reports. And this is always so interesting. I think everybody's here. Miley from Congressman Judy Chu's office. There you are.
Hello. Thanks, Sue. And thank you, Kelly. We are definitely looking forward to seeing the Meridien in person, hopefully soon, but it looks fantastic. So from Washington, D.C., as you probably have all heard, the Congresswoman's press release about the American Rescue Plan, the House of Representatives did pass it, and she was on the House Small Business Committee, the Ways and Means Committee, and Budget Committees, which all helped craft the bill. And it ended up being a $1.9 trillion in funds to address the pandemic. So some of the things that I wanted to highlight from it, one of the aspects of it was to provide working families an additional direct payment of $1,400 per person, which will bring the total relief payment to $2,000 per person. They're also making the child tax credit fully refundable and increases its size to $3,000 per child for 2021. In healthcare, we're providing over $20 billion to establish a national COVID-19 vaccination program and improve the administration and distribution of vaccinations, as well as providing $51 billion to expand testing, contact tracing, mitigation. And let's see, we also included $7.6 billion in funding to support COVID-19 response at community health centers, because we know that those are the areas where they're getting, it's hard to reach populations and really into the community. We're also providing nearly $130 billion to help K through 12 schools reopen safely. And we're also extending and increasing the unemployment benefit, raising the amount to $400 a week. For our small businesses, which we know is really the backbone of our economy here, we're providing $7.25 billion in additional funding for the Paycheck Protection Program, and we're expanding the eligibility of 501c nonprofits of all sizes and types, except for lobbying organizations. We're also doing $25 billion for a new program at SBA to offer assistance to restaurants and bars with 20 or fewer locations that have been hit hard by the pandemic, as well as $15 billion for COVID-19 emergency grants through the Economic Injury Disaster Loan. For state and local governments, there's $195.3 billion for the states and $130.2 billion for local governments. Under the bill, the local governments of every size would receive dedicated allotments. So now this is going towards the Senate. They are considering it today. I think they're planning to do like a pretty long marathon run today, so that hopefully it can be passed. We are expecting changes to the bill. We don't know exactly what they are yet until they've been voted on. But because we're expecting changes, the House is expecting to vote again on this. But we are hopefully trying to sign the bill into law by March 14th, which is when the unemployment expires. So that's kind of the biggest things that are happening right now in Washington, what we're kind of really focused on. But if there's anything else that you want brought to our attention, please feel free to contact me. I'll put my information in the chat. And yeah, that'll be it for me. Thank you.
Great. Any questions for Miley, anybody? Before we move on, thank you. That was a lot of information. You guys are just so much going on right now. All right, let's move on to, is Carla, you're here, aren't you? There's Carla.
I'm here.
Hi, with Senator Susan Rubio's office.
Yes, ma'am. Morning, everyone. Good to see you all. Although a lot of you have been seeing me and the boss a lot in the past month, we've been doing the rounds, so a lot of what I say is probably old news to all of you. But while going after Miley and her 1.3 trillion, we're a little bit less, but the Senate and the Assembly did agree on a package with Governor Newsom last month, which is about $10 billion total, $2 billion of which will be going to small businesses directly. But as mentioned before, I think I've been telling you all of this for the last month or so you're probably bored of it. But we're all still really, really excited. It's a big relief. And hopefully the money coming from the federal government and all the work the Congresswoman has been doing will help all of us get to a better place in the very near future. A couple of things I wanted to mention. Obviously, the senator is one of the leaders in the Housing Production Committee in the Senate. So we're working on more housing bills, including one that's been sponsored by the San Gabriel Valley Economic Partnership, to convert, to help school districts convert vacant property into housing. So we're pretty excited about that, and hopefully it goes through. And we're working on the rest of our bill package, which is going to include a lot of insurance work, helping people get better insurance and helping people be insured, as we've been having a lot of issues with people in wildfire high-risk areas being dropped by their insurance recently. So we're looking at ways to mitigate that this year. And again, more work on small businesses, but also I wanted to mention that the Senator has signed on to several of the bills that are coming through the Assembly and the House that are aimed at preventing hate crimes, including AB 57, as we have been seeing a rise in that area in the last 2 years, as I think everyone's aware of. And finally, we're also in talks with Governor Newsom in hopes of getting a vaccination site in the district. Obviously, that's not up to us, but we're working on it. So yeah, that's it for our office.
Wonderful. Any questions for Carla? Anyone? Okay, thank you, Carla. Everything you all do, you're we appreciate so much. I think I saw Henry is here from Assembly Ed
Yes.
Chau's office.
Hello. Yes, thank you very much, and good morning, all. And first, let me say, Kelly, thank you for that wonderful presentation on La Meridien. I will have to say my impression was, it's not just a hotel, but it's a experience and a destination. And although I only live 6 miles south of here, I may just want to spend a weekend there just to experience it all. Oh, I can. Oh, good. Wonderful, wonderful. And then maybe I'll go next door to the mall. Again, thanks for having us here today. And I think what I'll begin my presentation to add to my colleagues from Congresswoman Chu's office and State Senator Rubio's office is to discuss this week, the State Assembly will be taking action on AB 86, which will be the Education Omnibus Trailer Bill. And what this bill does, it would appropriate, if passed, $6.6 billion to accelerate the safe reopening of schools. And we all know, those of us who have been working from home for a year or have family members or relatives, we know the challenge, and especially those in education. And so what the Omnibus Trailer Bill hopes to do is to offer $2 billion in incentives to remove the obstacles that districts have complained are standing in their way in safely reopening, as well as $4.6 billion in one-time state funding for districts to spend to cope with the harm of COVID-19 on students' learning as well as mental health. And so we think this is a very important first step. Again, we know there's still a lot of work to do. And I know in the coming weeks, the Assembly member, as well as a staff, will be reaching out to our school districts to ask, how can we help with the safe reopening of schools? We know it's really important. I mean, already it's March gone April, and the school year is already mostly behind us. We want to make sure that we can at least, especially with hard hits grade levels like K through elementary, we can get those kids back in the classroom safely and as soon as possible. Also, the Assembly member for this session is introducing 23 bills. No, I'm not going to go over all 23 bills today, but maybe in the coming months, I'll go over some of them. But they continue to focus on his work as chair of the Assembly Committee on Privacy and Consumer Protection. And a lot of the bills will be focusing on third-party use of internet data. We know, especially during the COVID crisis, a lot of apps have been developed to track those to make sure that their mental health as well as physical health are taken care of, as well as if they are COVID-19 affected, that they are safely sheltering at home, as well as safely protecting their families and community. But again, although technology has been a wonderful panacea, case in point, we're meeting right now on Zoom, we need to make sure that we protect individuals' privacy and data. And so a good chunk of his 23 bills will be focusing on different aspects of privacy, as well as updating the landmark California Consumer Privacy Act, which she was a co-author of. And so I'll be presenting some of those bills to you in the coming months. And that's it for me. Thank you very much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And I think I saw Sandra. Oh, Connie, I'm sorry. totally forgot Connie.
That's okay. I forgive you, Sue. Ed, I just want to thank, I want to thank our Assemblymember Ed for focusing on education. And for me, it's early education. As you know, we do 0 to 14 years in child development programs in childcare. So please thank him for being a champion out there for us.
So thank you.
I saw you doing woo in the background when he was. All right. Any other questions for Henry? Okay, so we're going to move on, and we have Sandra I saw from Supervisor Kathryn Barger office.
Hi, good morning, everybody.
Hey.
Thank you for having me. I'll start off by talking about an event that we hosted on Tuesday in Arcadia, actually. The supervisor has been doing food drives throughout the district to help with the families who are facing food insecurity. So the last event we had happened to be at Santa Anita Racetrack. We took advantage of the big space, so we thank the track for the hospitality and Pete for making the connection. So the food drive is hosted in partnership with the LA Food Bank, and in a matter of 4 hours, we were able to serve over 1,800 households. So that is huge for this community, and that includes people who are coming from all over. So we were happy to be able to give back to families who are suffering and are in need. So stay tuned for more events. Also, thank you to the Chamber. Thank you for helping us spread the word and getting people to come out. So thank you so much for that. Moving on to COVID, our numbers continue to trend downward, which is good news. We are very, very hopeful and being very cautiously optimistic that we will be able to move into the red tier as early as Tuesday, if not soon thereafter. So we're hopeful that if we continue this trend through the weekend, the governor might give us the green light per se to move on into the next tier of reopenings, which would allow for, a lot of more restrictions to be lifted. So we know that we've been waiting for this for a few months now. We're ready to move on into the next year. As far as vaccines go, we continue our distribution efforts. As you all may have heard, as of March 1st, we have a new eligibility group that is now able to receive vaccines, and those include emergency service workers, and that includes law enforcement. We have education and childcare, food and agriculture are not being able to be served throughout our vaccination sites all over the county. If you're looking to make an appointment, please go to the DPH website. I will put that link in the chat box. And as you know as well, some other good news that we received just in the past week is Johnson & Johnson has been now eligible to be distributed to the masses. So we received an allotment this past week, and we're hoping that with another vaccine in the market, we're able to increase our supply, which means more appointments availability for anybody who is currently eligible to receive them. So we will continue to update on our vaccination efforts. Everything looks to be trending in a positive way. So we're hopeful that, like I said, by Tuesday, we will hear the good news that we were able to move on into the next year. So stay tuned for more information on that. That's all I have from the supervisor's office.
That's a lot. Again, thank you for all your efforts. Okay, our big guy towards Tim Schwer with the City of Arcadia for our local news.
Yeah, thank you, Sue. So yeah, right now I think we're Arcadia really focused on continuing to get information to our small businesses as well as our residents on financial assistance, because that's continues to be extremely important. So I just wanted to highlight kind of what's out there right now. As Carla mentioned, there's over $2 billion coming from the state of California in a business grant program. I think the timing on that is it's looking sometime later this month. But information on that is at calreliefgrant.com. So please get that information out to our businesses to apply for that. Again, that's grant funding, so it doesn't need to be paid back. And definitely that's what our small businesses are interested in right now. Also on grant news, City of Arcadia, we are planning to repackage some of our community development block grant funding that we get each year to issue an additional 25 $5,000 small business grants in the coming month. So we have a list of people who applied for the grants back in June of 2020. So we're going to be using the same list and doing a random lottery of those who meet certain eligibility requirements. You have to have an actual storefront, of course, be in the city of Arcadia, and there's other preferential status for like restaurants, retail, those types of businesses that have been most impacted by COVID-19. So that's going to be coming, and I'll have a good report on that hopefully next month on all the local businesses who were able to receive those grants. The PPP, Paycheck Protection Program, right now through March 9th, my understanding is that it's they're prioritizing sole proprietors and small businesses with 20 or less employees. So they're really trying to process those. So definitely get the word out to apply if you haven't already for those funds. And then LA County has a stabilization loan program that they're continuing to offer. So it's a small business loan. I think it's at a 3.25% interest rate. So it's a very low interest rate. So again, a lot of funding out there to continue to try to help our small businesses get through this time. And as we reopen, allow them to bridge that gap until they're able to get back to fully open and doing business again. For tenants, real quick, there's also the COVID-19 Tenant Relief Act that was passed in Sacramento is supplying basically back rent for residential units. So it's a really great program. So the idea is anyone who's hasn't been able to pay their rent has been able to stay in their housing, but they're continuing to accrue debt that eventually will need to be paid back. So this program will pay back 80% of the owed debt as long as the landlord is willing to forego the extra 20%. And so that would clear all past rent as well as I think rent going all the way through the middle of this year. So anyone you know who has had their income impacted and is falling behind on rental payments, please have them look into that program. I think that funding is coming and should be open for applications later this month as well. Local news, we had a grocery outlet open on Live Oak Avenue. Chamber helped host a grand opening ceremony, so that was great. And then wanted to mention that we have a second grocery outlet that is going to be opening up on Foothill Boulevard. And so that, I think their timing is looking at later this month or into April. And so we're really happy to have those two new stores opening in the city. City Council moved forward on a recommendation for this tiny home shelter pilot program. This is a program to help address the issue of homelessness. The San Gabriel Valley Housing Trust, it's like a trust that's looking to address homelessness and add affordable housing to the San Gabriel Valley. They're going to be doing this pilot program. It's a tiny, well, I can provide more detail, but essentially it gets people into these tiny shelters to be able to give them a place to live. And Arcadia down kind of in the Peck Road area, there's a location down there. So our council is moving forward with a recommendation to this housing trust for them to look at that site. And so again, I think they're going to be doing 3 to 5 of these sites in San Gabriel Valley in the coming months. And then I'll finally just mention that City of Arcadia, we are looking at, like a lot of cities, some of these delivery app companies like Uber Eats and whatever, and the fees they're charging. We're hearing on the one hand that they're continuing to charge high fees for the restaurants, but then they're also charging higher fees for the customers. So a lot of cities have put a cap in place on what they can charge the restaurants. Because the restaurants, again, are the ones that are really hurting from this. So we're looking at that. I think our council is going to look at that later this month. It's a complicated issue. It's an issue that has recently been brought up in Sacramento there's a bill that's kind of just been announced to potentially put more of a permanent cap to kind of address this issue. But city, we may adopt a temporary measure just to help our restaurants, again, through the end of COVID-19. So that is my report, and feel free to contact me if you have any questions on any of these items or anything else. Thanks.
Any questions for Tim, anybody? What would that, just the tenant rent help, was that through you, Tim, or was that through the city, or?
You're welcome to contact me. It's a state program, state of California. It's COVID-19 Tenant Relief Act that was passed.
Okay.
And so the housingiskey.com is the website to go to for the information on that.
Thank you. That was wonderful information, particularly for our businesses, and boy, you are a really an asset to our community, Tim. Thank you. So now with Brian Green from the Hospital Methodist. Hey, Brian.
Hey, I'm smiling a little bit more this month. Thank
Yeah.
you, Sue. Hey, and great presentation, Kelly. I look forward. I know we've been trying to get on each other's schedules here. I look forward to taking a tour. That was really impressive. We're so fortunate to have city leadership that is forward thinking, and I'm sure they were very much a part of what that hotel was going to look like. But the Le Meridien looks beautiful. It's going to be a real jewel in the city. Hey, real quick, 2 months ago today we had 130 COVID patients in our hospital. Today we have about 12.
Oh.
So that's still 12 too many, but we're doing so much better. But we don't want people to get too comfortable and let your guard down. Please be careful out there. Wear your mask, as I always say. 12 months now. Wear your mask, social distance. Just continue to do the hand washing. Be careful. We want to make sure that these variants that are out there don't rear their ugly head yet one more time. More good news is that we're back doing elective surgeries at the hospital. Excuse me. We were on and then off and then on and then off again. We're back on. So if you've been putting off any kind of a routine surgery, maybe a knee surgery or a shoulder surgery or anything you might need to improve your quality of life, please go ahead and pursue that with your physician. We're ready for you. And let's see. And then finally, we are having a virtual Mardi Gras this year in May. We know Mardi Gras has kind of passed here with Fat Tuesday, but we just we were kind of hoping to see if we could open up a little more, and we can't. But we had a very successful crystal ball fundraising event in the fall, and we're hoping to do Mardi Gras the same way with multiple restaurants participating. It'll be a drive-through event over there at the Hale building right across from the hospital, and it should be a lot of fun. And we're crossing our fingers that things will look good for the fall, where we can actually have another crystal ball fundraising event in person, obviously benefiting our hospital. So take care, be well, be safe, and we'll see you soon. Thank you. Great news, Brian. It's great news. We're the light at the end of the tunnel. So hang in there, everybody. Okay, so I'm going to be sharing, I think, a little bit. Matt will put up on the screen our March events for the Chamber. It's the beginning of March, and we've got a lot going on, which is wonderful. Today, obviously, our community connection. Chambering 101 is coming up on March 17th. And our Rise and Shine breakfast, if you haven't attended, that's just a Karen does such a fabulous, and Carrie and Matt, everyone, a great job. And you break out into little, breakout rooms and just really get to meet people that maybe you haven't even talked to before. So it's a wonderful opportunity. We have our Connect and Prosper on March 24th that Francine Chu and Karen host, and it's just taken off, a really popular event. We have Speed Networking on March 24th. And that's a rapid fun event. And these are all just great ways to just, get out and get in and talk to people. It's wonderful. And the Chamber, what I'm so proud of, we make it easy, I think, to meet people and to network. So don't hesitate to attend that event. And then the Mix on March 11th. Is that going to be, we have another slide for that, but that's a virtual beer tasting event. There you go, with Mount Low, and kind of just in time for St. Patty's Day. And that'll be a lot of fun. So I think you pick up your beer, and then everybody online, we taste it together and learn a little bit about each one. So it's a great way to kick off St. Patty's Day. If you have any questions, Matt and Carrie are available, and Karen to help you. And any questions or last comments from anyone?
Sue,
yes, Jennifer.
I just want to, since we have so many people here, I wanted to add something to the calendar, or for people to look out for. I've been coordinating with PPE Unite, which is an organization that works with the state and county to give PPE to small businesses with less than 100 employees. So on March 18th, I don't have all the final details yet or the graphics or anything, but I just wanted everybody to put it on their calendar. March 18th, it's going to be at Santa Anita Park in their parking lot. And people, small businesses that haven't already will be able to go to ppeunite.org and sign up. And then on March 18th, they'll be able to drive through the track and pick up PPE, 30 days worth of supplies of sanitizer, masks, and face shields for all their employees for free. So just be on the lookout for that. But we're finalizing all the details and everything, but it will be March 18th at Santa Anita Park where small businesses can pick up free PPE.
Jennifer, thanks for coordinating that whole thing. You're really the one that made that happen. So thank you. And I just want to make sure everybody knows that we congratulate Jennifer is our new president of the Arcadia Chamber of Commerce. Bravo, bravo. She's already just making a difference. So we're so thankful to have you. And Naomi, we miss you. But she's not in the Arcadia community, but it's great to see you. All right, everybody. Any other comments before we go? All right. I want to thank you for coming and joining us, and we'll see you next time. All right.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye, everybody.